So, for this review, for this analyst reflection, whatever I choose to end up calling it, I think I'm in a sort of difficult place on how to approach this. Grand Theft Auto 5, to me, is not one game but two games. And that is the single player, Grand Theft Auto 5, and the multiplayer, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. And I think I read somewhere that even Rockstar considers them both to be different games. And I also consider them both to be different games because they have different flavors to it. Let's start off with the single player campaign. So, GTA 5, it's a third-person action-adventure game, a crime simulator, if you will, and where you complete missions and you can drive any vehicle you can come across. Bicycles, motorbikes, cars, trucks, sports cars, airplanes, helicopters, boats. I mean, it's staggering the amount of vehicles that you can ride in this game. And I just want to point out that in the past, games weren't always like this. You didn't have freedom of movement. I remember in Driver that if you see a car and you wanted to ride it, you couldn't because there's no mechanism. And now we have GTA 5 and we're almost spoiled about the choice of vehicles that we can commandeer. You see a truck down the road, steal it, and you see a sports car down the road and you steal it. And it's just this freedom of movement. Anyway, I just want to go on a tangent there. And aside from driving vehicles, you've also got gunplay and missions and a story mission. It's pretty much the same formula of past GTA games. But I'm going to go into... Let's start with the stuff that I dislike about GTA 5. Now, before you send me hate comments and hate messages, I just want to say this is my opinion, and I truly do believe that Grand Theft Auto 5 is a great game, a very good game, and it surpasses GTA 4 and GTA 3 and what's it trying to do in and it's far more playable than GTA 4 ever was. GTA 4 was very dark. The graphics were really dark. I couldn't see where I was going. It was grainy and depressing. And maybe that was because Liberty City is depressing, but it was too dark and I couldn't see anything. The graphics were HD at the time, but nowadays when you look back of it, even then I had to crank up the brightness just to play GTA 4. And I was pleased when I first played my copy of GTA 5. And the colors were bright and colorful. The city of Los Santos and the surrounding countryside was colorful and bright, and it wasn't depressing or dark like GTA 4. And I was like, hallelujah, yes, finally some color. I can see things again, and it just makes all the difference. I implore you to go to your copy of GTA 5 and just play. The graphics are so much brighter and more colorful. So I really do like the graphics. Very detailed, very colorful. Definitely an improvement over the previous game in the series. Having said that, I truly do believe that GTA 5 is a great game. But how should I put this? The story it's basic. The three protagonists, and I call them protagonists, not good guys. I'll get into that later. It's about the three protagonists and then completing a series of heists. I pronounced that correctly, didn't I? Yep. And I like the backstory of each heist and why they're doing each heist. But that's basically it. It's just a story of about three men completing a range of heists. And I know there's elements of Michael's betrayal. Spoiler alert, klaxon goes off. Michael's betrayal as Lo Jones and him trying to get with Michael's daughter, Trevor's psychopathy and him stealing Madrazo's wife, and the stuff about Lloyd and Floyd or Lloyd, whatever. I know there's other things to the story, but at its core, GTA 5 is a very basic story that's being told. And I felt like the earlier games in the series, GTA San Andreas, which is ironic because GTA 5 does take place in the state of San Andreas, I thought there was a much more memorable story, and Vice City was a much more memorable story than GTA 5. Because they had like dynamic progression, like a plot. It was plotted. CJ or Tommy Vercetti would go to one place, each one stemming from another. And it made sense. And I remember those stories as well. Those were the stories that if I was a crime writer, I would be writing. But GTA 5, it's not a story that I would write. It's just, I don't know, it's just lacking something. The game has this theme of cynicism, of the 21st century, this internet age, of the Facebooks and the Twitter and the YouTube, and everybody's on their phone or on their tablets. And from a gameplay perspective, that's good to include those elements. But it seems like it's cynical and like it really bashes the idea of celebrity and celebrity over their heads. It's just very cold and cynical. It's also a little bit dark. I was shocked when what's his face, Johnny Klebitz, the hero of the DLC of GTA 4 Lost and Damned, had his head caved in by Trevor. And I was pretty shocked at that because I spent the better half of GTA 4 raising Johnny Klebitz up, taking care, making sure his gang saw some sort of success, and that was a downer ending anyway. So it's disappointing to have him killed off for real by Trevor, one of the main protagonists in the new series. Perhaps it's a symbol that it's a new chapter in GTA and this is the type of protagonist that we want. Let's talk about the protagonists. Trevor and Michael both are well written. Michael is a very interesting character, and Trevor is also a very interesting character, arguably my favorite character. And the thing is that Franklin is rather dull. He's no CJ, he's no Carl Johnson. He's basically a character who doesn't want to exit out of the streets, you know? He wants to make more money, but he still wants to be a gangbanger. And his characterization was a little bit, it was more dull than Trevor or Michael. Michael had his interesting story, and his family, although annoying, were interesting, and it's quite interesting from a gameplay experience. Trevor was psychopathic, probably the breakout star, to use that term, of GTA 5, and was psychotic, but also kind of not likable, but sort of endearing. But I thought that Franklin was just dull as a doorknob, sorry. But I think what they're trying to do was have each of the three protagonists represent a kind of player. Franklin will be the character who's just starting out on his GTA journey. Michael will be the player who's already completed the game, finished the main quest or finished the final mission, and he's got the big mansion and all the money, like at the end of Vice City. And now what? Now what? And I think that's Michael's theme. Now, what does he do now? He's washed up. That's why he goes to therapy, to Dr. Whatever his face. And I think Trevor represents the middle ground. He represents the... I think you and I have all done this. We go into a GTA game, we start playing it, and we just cause chaos. We take out the big rocket launcher, we blow up every car, we murder innocent civilians, we run over people. The FBI and the army and the police, they're all coming up after us. It's just complete chaos to do that. And it's always fun to do that. In the GTA game anyway. Never ever do it in real life. Just thought I might mention that, just in case any never-do-wells are viewing this. And to me, Trevor represents that side of the player. What is truly the casual gamer. I think he represents the casual gamer in that unbridled carnage and just excess, not stopping. That's why there are themes of him. He's a very villain protagonist. This is the most scariest Canadian I've ever found in a video game. The three characters, Trevor, Michael and Franklin respectively, are not good guys. They're really not good guys. They're the protagonists of the game, but they're not good guys. If you were to meet them, I think all three of them are relatively psychopathic, deranged and dangerous in their own way. They have very little redeeming qualities to them. And it sounds like I'm bagging them out, I know. I do believe they're interesting characters, but I don't believe they're good guys in traditional sense. I think they're people who they're fighting against, like Haynes and Devin Weston, are worse, a lot worse. So it's, once again, it's one of my favorite themes, black and grey morality. The three protagonists are the grey, and the villains are the black. So in no way they're good guys, but they are the protagonists. One thing I might mention about GTA 5 is that there is a lot of detail. I could give you an example of this. Whenever you break into a car and you smash the window, if you stop breaking into the car and you walk over, you can actually walk over the broken glass and you can actually hear the sounds of it crunching beneath your feet. And also there are a lot of other small touches like that, like the litter on the streets, all sorts of detail in the city and in the countryside. The way that cars tick over when they stopped, the different sound between electric cars and petrol-related cars. Lots and lots of details, which I love it. They worked really hard on the game, on the details, and can't give them enough praise for that. Excuse me. I should mention that GTA 5 has another things I'm disappointed in the gameplay. For one, there is no taxi or ambulance or fire truck or police missions in vehicle missions like there were in previous games, which I'm a little bit disappointed. I really liked them, and what we do get is tennis and golf, which are fun in their own way. The golf minigame is the most fun golf game since Tiger Woods 99. An extremely old game I used to play, showing my .orgosaurus. But really, I really miss those in-vehicle missions, and I think some other fans miss those as well. But the thing that strikes me about the missions, there are 69 total story missions in the single-player campaign of GTA 5. And I feel that there is no reward from completing those missions. The only time you get a monetary reward is at the end of, not each quest, but probably at the main quest line. Not the main quest line. The last heist is where you get the bulk of the money. And sure, you can make some money, like in the ferrying taxis, owning the businesses, and you get some money thrown about your way completing some missions. But by and large, I feel like there is no reward for completing missions. There is no money. You don't even get a respect system as seen in San Andreas. So it kind of seems, other than, advancing the story, it kind of seems pointless. I mean, I want to be able to earn money when I complete missions because it gives me a sense of fulfillment. It gives me a reason to do those missions. It gives me a reward. And as a video games are basically a reward simulator. You do a task and you get rewarded, either with experience points or new clothing or money in the case of GTA 5. And let's not forget that in the logo of GTA 5 itself, there is like a dollar sign, the American dollar, a pastiche of the American dollar sign. So it's apparently all about money, but you can't earn money, at least you earn little, small bits of money until the final heist. But thankfully, the multiplayer turns that on its head. Okay, I'm going to start talking about the multiplayer. The multiplayer in GTA 5 Online, is fantastic, and it's, in my opinion, superior than the single player game. You actually do get money from completing missions. Anywhere between $2,000 and $7,000 for completing missions for contacts, or by doing races, or deathmatch. And okay, I'll go through the list of possible types. So there are parachuting events where you can, kind of like a race, where you follow, oh man, shouldn't have that bowl of cereal late at night. There are parachuting events, there's survival, there are death matches, team death matches. I think you know what they are. How many kills within the time limit or set number. Races, which are actually fun. I don't particularly like the races found in Vice City or GTA San Andreas, but I do like the races in GTA 5 Online. Very fun, whether checkpoint based or lap based, really fun. And missions with contacts, some based from the single player campaign, like Madrazo or Trevor. They do make small cameos, and some new characters like Gerald, for instance. There are also adversary modes, which are kind of like kind of like death matches, and they all have some kind of quirk, like the one with the werewolves and the hunters, the Halloween themed ones, and the one that is a parody of that famous scene in Terminator 2, the bus chasing the motorcycle down the Los Angeles canals, not canals, that famous sewer canal thing. And there's also capture, and lots of very different very ways of making money. Lots of different types of ways of events of making money for your player character. Speaking about the player character in multiplayer, it is the first time in a GTA game, did GTA 4 multiplayer have it? I'm not so sure, that you could play as a woman. And I myself like to play as a woman. If I had the choice in every video game I like to play, just something that I have my reasons, so I'm not going to go into them. It's private reasons, and I'm not going to share it in this video. But you do get to select a female character, which I do love. And the customization option is immense. All sorts of clothing, from suits to skirts to and they're all gender exclusive. There's scarves and different wigs and different tattoos you can buy, different makeup, masks to wear, different styles of suits. You've also got the heist and the flight school costumes, and you can mix and match, or you can go directly to the shopkeep and you can pick out several different outfits. You can create your own outfits. Lots of customization, and it doesn't extend to the player character. You can customize your guns, have different tints. Pink is the rarest one. Well, it's not the rarest one, it is the most valuable one. Gold isn't, pink is. Look it up. A pink gun is a sign of status, okay? You can choose what color parachute to have, whether it's like a flag of a country or a rainbow pride. And you can also customize the cars. Either you steal a car and you pay for insurance, or you can buy it from one of the in-game websites using the money that you earn from the missions, your reward in other way. And you can customize the cars, add new bumpers, new fenders, new roofs, change the color, give it a pearlescent, do all sorts of things. And if you're lucky enough to have the Lowriders DLC, you can change it even further. For some vehicles, you can have like a nice decor job and can customize the interior with bobbleheads and that sort of thing. Lots of customization. I love it. I love it. I believe that GTA 5 is the only MMO, and I believe it is an MMO, a massive multiplayer online game, that I truly fell in love with. And it works so well, the cars work well, and the missions and customization and all the activities that you can do. It truly is my favorite MMO, the one that I never got into WoW. I never got into Second Life, which isn't an MMO, but it's virtually the same thing. I did get into IMVU a long time ago. But suffice to say that it is my favorite MMO. And I'm glad I live in an age where I don't have to use my computer to play it. I can just use my internet-capable PlayStation 3. So let's talk about the DLCs. The DLCs is one of the reasons why Grand Theft Auto Online, being an almost 2-year-old game at this point, succeeds. And it keeps things fresh. Rockstar will release a DLC around a holiday, such as Valentine's or Christmas or Halloween, filled with brand new content, new cars, new game modes, new mechanics, new apartments for your player character to have a safe house in. And I believe that content like that, continually updated content, as we've seen with WoW and other MMOs, such as Star Trek Online, if the content is always coming, it provides interest. It keeps people interested in playing the game more. And these DLC, they're free. They're absolutely free. The only microtransactions, to use that dirty word, that you do have to pay for is you can actually, just like some Facebook games, pay real money for in-game money, and you use that in-game money to buy cars, vehicles, helicopters, new apartments. And they've done it in a really clever way. They call it shark cards, which is basically like a parody of credit cards. And for 50, let's say, I don't know if this is correct or not, but for the sake of argument, let's say $50, 50 American dollars will buy you $5 grand in-game money. That's probably not what it is, but just an example. And you can use that to buy ancillary stuff. But the DLCs itself, the content that they give you is free, and all you need is an internet connection. And the next time you play it, when there's a DLC available, it downloads it. Brilliant. So the shark cards, I think, is a very good method of, you know, paying for this extra content without actually putting a price on the DLC itself. So well done. The one bad thing, which isn't really a bad thing in my opinion, about the DLCs is, as of recording this, 2016, they've stopped making DLCs for the last generation of video game consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. For PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which is a terrible name, by the way, content is still coming. It's still being updated. But for the others on the regional consoles, we don't get anything new. It's stopped now. But I am glad that they managed to get the Heist update finally. And they took a very long time to get it ready for us, but as long as we got, I was happy with it. So no new content for the last generation people, which is sad, but also at the same time, you don't have to put up with downloading new content. And the reason why there is no content for the older generation of video game consoles is because of memory limitations. The more things you try to cram into it, the more it's going to exceed its memory, and their hardware can't handle it. But the newer hardware and PCs, well, PC Master Race, just kidding, they can add content without limiting the hardware. And I'm not going to go into a great detail on all the new DLC for the current generation of video game consoles. But I would like to mention that they look very fascinating. I've done my research on it. You lucky bastards, those with the newer consoles. I can't play newer PC games anymore. And I just want to say this one final thing about multiplayer GTA 5. I feel like that is the game that Rockstar wanted to make, and the single player campaign was like a test balloon for it. I feel like it's more rewarding for the player, monetary wise, much more engaging, community based, and you still get trolls, and you still get, you know, people acting like dicks to you, blowing up your cars, but you can like send like a hit squad over to them, have them mugged. There are a lot of range of things that Rockstar have implemented into the multiplayer to like counter that. The passive mode, which is meant to stop people from killing you. As of recording this, people can still destroy you while you're in your car, blow it up with an explosive. So it doesn't really work. Passive mode is pretty much my only gripe. It doesn't really work. And the only way to make sure that you're not going to get accosted by any random people on the online is to do an invite-only session where you and your friends can play in relative peace without knowing any, you know, asshole blowing people up for no reason because they're an asshole. So there are a number of things, and I think Rockstar actively encourages you to work cooperatively. I've always been a fan of cooperative game modes rather than death matches. It's much more thrilling to me, at least, to play with a group of people helping to achieve a goal, like defeating a rancor in the Star Wars game. In GTA Online's case, finishing a mission. And if you do play with others, and you have to play with others to complete certain heists, you actually get more XP and more money, which is lovely. And if they're part of your crew, which is like online speak for a guild, in other words, you get more money across that. So I think Rockstar actively encourage cooperation, which is nice. But if you still want to have player versus player and death matches, you can happily kill each other as well. You can do that as well. The last point I want to make about multiplayer GTA Online is the complete variety. Well, I was talking about, you know, the dickheads, and there are some dickheads there going to say, oh, you're such an F, go back to where you came from, especially Adversary. I find that Adversary people really dickheads. I've actually had comments on my PlayStation ID thing on my account, like saying, oh, you suck at Adversary, go kill yourself, which very distressing, as you can imagine. The 14-year-olds of Call of Duty are playing GTA 5 now. Go figure. But I do want to mention there's also the pleasurable aspect. I have a Turtle Beach headset, which I can plug into my PlayStation 3 as well as my computer. And I can talk to people and have conversation with people. And in fact, for some reason, my lobby is also based like an international lobby. And I remember I was having these wonderful discussions with people from Italy, players from Italy. And because I am Italian, GTA 5 Online actually encouraged me to learn more Italian, to speak in Italian. So I had to learn all the stuff that my parents taught me and all the stuff that was taught in high school about the Italian language, and I used that to communicate with GTA 5. And I've never ever felt that way in a video game since. No other video game has done that, console or PC otherwise, has never given me the opportunity to do exact that. And there was another occasion, a couple of years ago, I think around New Year's Eve, I entered GTA 5 Online, and it was a lobby with just me and one other person. Excuse me. Gosh, I shouldn't have drank that. And I'm not sure if the person was from Australia. He could be from America or China, who knows? I don't know what country he was from. But we were doing a range of missions, a playlist, I think, and just, you know, robbing the 7-Elevens in-game. And I was talking in my headset and he was typing out through the PSID message system. And we had this wonderful connection, this wonderful conversation, and we were talking back and forth about our lives. And he was talking about, I can't remember. I think I did most of the talk. I was whinging that day. I was talking about my love life or something similar like that. I can't remember. But there was this connection, and wow, I felt at the time I was like really down, like really not in a depressed state, but really down in the dumps. And I had this beautiful connection with a player from across the globe playing GTA, just talking. I was talking on the headset and he was writing on the thing, and it was so beautiful. It was just a really awesome thing, and to this date I've never ever experienced anything like that. People can be dicks on GTA Online, but they also can be very generous to you. They can also protect you like a pretend boyfriend or pretend girlfriend, protect you from, you know, the dicks, and they'll shoot you, or you can have a conversation with them about your day and relax, and you know, when people thank you, saying that was a great heist, thank you for helping on that heist, thank you for helping me on that mission, it truly is heartwarming. I almost teared up, I really did. And Call of Duty or Unreal Tournament or any other multiplayer game like that, or an MMO or a first-person shooter. I've never ever had those kinds of experience with them, but GTA Online did that, and for that reason I think GTA Online is one of my most favorite games. And it doesn't matter what system you use. Heck, I encourage you to buy it on last generation just to try it out. Although most people just buy on the current generation. But I definitely think it is one of my most favorite games because it gave me those moments in an MMO. And it's my favorite MMO of all time. And it's a very good game. And I implore you, without all the controversy surrounding it, around the tortoise sequence and other niggling gameplay and cutscenes. Other than that, if you can handle that, then it's a really good game, superior than original, and in my opinion, GTA Online is superior than the single player campaign, and is a very, very good game and a very, very good MMO. Well, I hope I've made some sense. Thank you very much for watching this video, and good night.